Welcome to this web tutorial. This contribution is part of the toolkit included in result number 3 of the Erasmus Plus Clique project. It's about scenario building tool. What is the scenario building tool about? It aims to develop future visions that intend to favor structured reflections on possible evolutions on the environmental, the urban, the social context of the neighborhood that is under study. The scenario building tool consists of two main parts, the business as usual scenario and the shared and sustainable scenario. The business as usual scenario makes it possible to understand what could happen if adaptation and mitigation actions are not implemented in the district or in the city that is under study. The shared and sustainable scenario concerns the sustainable and desirable scenario built with the participation of the local community. Who participates and how? The business as usual scenario will be built with the students on the basis of the knowledge that was acquired with the climate and health profile after a relationship with citizens, freelancers, public administration officials, and local stakeholders following the EASW methodology. It consists in the construction of the risk matrix. The shared and sustainable scenario involves students building a list of climate change adaptation and mitigation measures in response to the health and the life quality risks identified in the business as usual scenario. These measures will be discussed in the working tables and the priority level will be established during this phase. The first phase of the business as usual scenario takes into account the impacts and the major climatic and health risks emerging from the climate profile and from the health profile and taken from climate data and plans available on state, regional, and municipal levels. The business as usual scenario is based on the construction of the risk matrix for the socio-economic and ecological sectors exposed to the impacts of climate change. The risk matrix is a fundamental step in selecting the conditions for adaptation. The content of the business as usual scenario is inspired by the Handbook for Provinces, Regions, and Cities of the Austrian Environmental Agency. The risk matrix for each of the climatic variables, temperature, wind, precipitation, and for each of the socio-economic and environmental sectors most exposed to climate change, urban health, outdoor spaces, transportation and infrastructure, construction and housing, energy supply, tourism, nature conservation, biodiversity, water management, forestry, economy, will contain the indicators of the climatic variables taken into consideration, their trend, potential impacts, risks, their current level and evolution over time, the place or the places that are most affected. The shared and sustainable scenario is about the sustainable and desirable scenario built with the participation of the local community, referring to some fields of actions including health, nature conservation and biodiversity, tourism, construction and housing, energy, transportation and infrastructures, outdoor spaces, economy, and with the support of the guide, A Handbook for Provinces, Regions, and Cities, the students will identify a list of possible adaptation measures that they will submit to the participants at their working group in order to decide on the following questions. Are the measures relevant to the project area? If so, what is the current state of implementation? In the last column of the table, there will be reported design examples, guidelines, and tools that can help in the selection of adaptation measures. The next step involves selecting the most suitable adaptation measures based on the matrix that identifies their objectives, the possible obstacles, the effects on human health, and the possibility of being supported by the local community and by local stakeholders. Based on criteria such as importance, significance, urgency, robustness and flexibility, environmental consequences, social consequences, economic efficiencies, the measures will be weighted with the support of the local stakeholders in order to bring out the priorities in carrying out the adaptation interventions. After the selection of the adaptation measures on the basis of the relationship between the participants in the local workshop, the shared and sustainable scenario will have to be represented through a project concept. This will explain the objectives of urban regeneration and will locate the expected adaptation measures that could improve the quality of life and the well-being of the neighborhood. Among the different possible alternatives, the nature-based solutions include all the technical and architectural elements characterized by natural, vegetable, and mineral solutions. These represent solutions capable of increasing the degree of urban climatic adaptation. They are economically convenient and bring significant climatic, environmental, social, economic benefits. They can also play a central role to enhance the physical and the mental health of citizens. The materials and the tools that should be used here are case study, territorial framework map, aerial photo, description of the area with its problems, urban planning sheets with the provisions from the municipal planning, health profile and climatic profile, results of this survey, place standards with a climatic lens, drawing materials to elaborate the proposals, markers, papers, and computers.